Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dictation a Day YouTube series. My name is Dr. Julia Alford. And if you don't already have it, please go grab a piece of manuscript paper or just a piece of paper with lots of lines written on it. That's fine too. And then come back and we'll get started. Okay, today we have a two-part dictation in D major. It's 4 measures in 4/4, and it is contrapuntal in nature. So we start with do and do, or D and D, in both hands. And the way that, so while I'm talking, go ahead and copy down on your paper what you see on the screen and get yourself all set up with your rhythm marks, etc. So how we're going to do this is I will play 3 listenings for the rhythm. So you'll get 1 for the left hand, 1 for the right hand, and then 1 to check your work. And then we will do 5 listenings for the first half and 5 listening for the second half. So lots of listenings. So you'll get good and comfortable with it. Probably memorized by the time we're done. So if anytime you need another listening or you want to back up, go into the description and there's a list of the different listenings. You can just click on the time that you want for which listening and that will bump you back in the video. Okay, here is your key. Listening number 1 for the left hand rhythm. 3 and 4 and. Okay. Listening number 2 for the right hand rhythm. 3 and 4 and. Okay, good. So at this point, hopefully you have the left hand rhythm and the right hand rhythm. And we're going to jump into just checking our work. So maybe you need a little bit of left hand, maybe you need a little bit of right hand, maybe you need a little bit of peace of mind. By the way, if you're not sure what I mean by taking a rhythmic dictation, go ahead and jump over to my website. The link is in the description below, and I have an article on taking a rhythmic dictation, and you can check that out there. Okay, here we go. 3rd listening. 3 and 4 and. Okay, good. So now pause the video and check your work, fill in your rhythmic values. So take your rhythmic slashes and translate them into note values, if that would help you. And I'm going to show you the answer for the rhythm in 3, 2, 1. Here you go. Okay, hopefully you did okay. We're going to go on and do 2 listenings for the left hand for the first half. So we'll end on the downbeat of measure 3. And then we'll do 2 listenings for the right hand and end on the downbeat of measure 3. And then we'll do 1 more listening to check your work. So here we go. 3 and 4 and. Okay, so you'll notice that there are some big leaps in there. Think about what would be logical. So let's isolate a little bit. There's your first leap. There's your second leap. And then you hear some skips. Think about what chords would make sense. If you're not quite sure, sketch in some answers, and then once you get the melody notes, you can compare it vertically to see what would make most sense there. All right, listening number 2 for the bass. 3 and 4 and. Good. Okay. Hopefully you got most of that. Go take another listening if you need to. Pause the video whenever you want. We're going to move on and do the right hand, first half, 2 times. Here's where we start. 3 and 4 and. So notice on beat 2 of the second measure, there's a leap. If you can figure out where you end, and you can work backwards, because that's all stepwise, you can figure out where you're leaping to, if you know where you're coming from. Which you should, because everything up to that is stepwise. Okay, let's do another listening for the right hand. 3 and 4 and. Okay, good. One final listening, pause if you need to, one final listening to check your work for the first half, and then I'll show you the answer. Okay, 3 and 4 and. There we go. So check your work. Look and see, pause, and come back. And here is the answer for the first half in 3, 2, 1. There you go. So let's talk about it. So we're outlining a 1 chord. And then we're stepping up. 1 chord. 5 chord. And we end back on 1. Okay, so let's move on to the second half. We'll do 2 listenings for the left hand, 2 listenings for the right. Start, and then 1 overall listening, and we will start on the downbeat of measure 3. I'll go a little slower and try and emphasize things. Now, keep in mind, this is a bit of a parallel period, so you would expect some repetition of what we had before. So there you go. There's a little clue. 3 and 4 and. Great. Okay. Second listening for the left hand. 3 and 4 and. Okay, so that second measure is different than the second measure above, but there's your clue. Okay, let's move on and get the right hand, of course. Go back, grab more listenings if you need them. Right hand 2 times. 3 and 4 and. Okay, once again. 3 and 4 and. Again, pause if you need to. Look for the areas where you want to check your work. Think about this logically. You know you end here, and you start here. So look at the ending. Look at how it's moving and see if you can logic out backwards what's happening in the second half. Because the first half is just moving down stepwise, and then you've got some funky stuff in the second measure. Okay, one less listening for both voices. Second half. 3 and 4 and. Okay, good. Hopefully you have the answer. Pause if you need to, and I'm going to show you the answer in 3, 2, 1. Here you go. So let's look at that. So as I mentioned, it starts pretty similarly, but it goes up and then it comes down. The rhythm is slightly different. So let's listen. The left hand is exactly the same for the first measure. And then we're just outlining some chords here. The 2 chord, cadential 6/4, 1, There you are. That's it. I hope that helped. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you want to see anything else. And as always, please subscribe and click the notification bell. I do post videos 5 days a week, all the weeks of the year. And for more tips, tricks, and all kinds of practice, please head over to my website, auraltheory.com. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.